Welcome back, Shalloners. Well, today we're going to tackle a topic that we forgot about. Well, I forgot about it. I can't blame you guys. I can't blame you. It's all me. Mary-Kate Olsen's divorce. Because this poor little girl, she's so tiny. She could be in this room right now. I would just never know. She's petite, like a little bird. Went through a divorce during a pandemic, and all this news broke while we were in New York under coronavirus lockdown, that basically her husband, Olivier Sarkozy, kicked her out of the Gramercy Park apartment, and now things have completely devolved. So there's not a ton of details known about their divorce and what led to it, but one very crucial detail has emerged. According to People magazine, Olivier, who is 50, he's 50. You could tell me this man was 70 years old, I would believe you. Okay, so this 50-year-old wanted Mary-Kate to be more of a stay-at-home wife. So today, we're going to break down what to do if your partner doesn't support your career and the red flags that is maybe where your relationship is trending, so that you can get out and read the writing on the wall or fix it and course correct before things reach the Mary-Kate point, right? But before we get started, just want to remind you that if you have a video shout out you want to get a question answered that way, get a pep talk for a friend or a birthday wish, find me on Cameo at ShallonXO. And if you have a love question you would like a bit more private, find me on my website, shallonlester.com, and click Get Help. And be sure to follow me on Instagram at ShallonXO, where I let you guys weigh in on the topic. You guys voted for this topic, so glad we're finally getting to it. Because celebrities aren't doing things a lot now. I mean, they weren't doing very much during Corona, right? And then, the entire world caught on fire with the BLM protests and, this whole wave of activism. So celebrities really aren't doing much. So I'm like, oh God, what are we talking about here? So I'm glad I forgot about this. So now we can talk about it. You know who is doing one thing? Can we just talk for a second about Lily Reinhart? Literally the day that Minneapolis was on fire, that there's barricades in Arizona, she's like, today is the day that I'm going to come out as bisexual. I'm like, read the room, Lil, read the room. Nobody cares what you do with your genitals right now. Like, I don't care, just full stop. I don't care at all. Be bisexual, who cares? I'm bisexual, literally nobody cares, doesn't matter. Nobody asked. I feel like, though, it's a super big red flag that her and Cole are going to break up. Cole Sprouse, her boyfriend from Riverdale. They've always had kind of a weird relationship. It's like a very interesting timing thing. And again, nobody asked. So tell me your thoughts on that. I wonder if maybe she's gunning for a role as someone who's bisexual. That could be it. Maybe she's just completely tone deaf and again can't read the room. Anyway, let's talk about Mary-Kate and Olivier. So Olivier is brother to Nicolas Sarkozy, prominent French politician, obviously. And Olivier is a financier. He is a French money guy. Now, I'm going to be using a French accent many times throughout this video. Do you know why? Parce que je suis français. Mon père est français, alors? My father is full French, and I am a first generation American on my father's side. I'm like a 20th generation on my mother's side. Anyway, so I'm not being offensive. These are my people. And in some of the articles about Mary-Kate and Olivier, one of those sources Olivier is going to get much more French. It is going to get ugly. He is going to become cold as the French become towards their wives. And I was like, can confirm. I get like that. Can confirm. Okay. So Mary-Kate, I'm going to say Mary-Kate and Ashley's marriage. I'm going to say it. I'm just going to say it. So Mary-Kate and Olivier's wedding was, if you guys remember, cigarette themed. It was themed of cigarettes. They had the reception in their townhouse in Gramercy, and they had giant bowls of cigarettes. And that was the theme. I think about this once a week. It's the most insane thing I've ever heard in my entire life. And I can't believe they're married as long as they have been. And she's 33, he's 50. Again, 50 by way of 70, I don't know. And this whole thing popped off May 18th in the middle of the pandemic. Apparently he canceled the lease on their Gramercy Park apartment. I am also very curious why they're renters and not owners. Do I own more property than Mary-Kate Olsen? That seems wrong. Why is she renting an apartment? Okay, that's weird. And then she decamped to the Hamptons. And apparently, once she left, Olivier moved his ex-wife and 2 kids in. Now, apparently that was because of COVID and he wanted everybody to be safe. But for Mary-Kate, it's like, the fuck's your ex-wife doing here? But again, it was a very French arrangement and there is no love between Olivier and Charlotte anymore. It's all about the kids, Margot and Julien. Okay, well, it doesn't matter. I don't think many of us want our husband's exes living with us, even if it is a pandemic. Why is my house the only safe place on planet Earth? What do I live in, like a house built of Lysol? Like, go get a hotel room, go out in the country, like go live your lives. We don't all have to be together, especially since his son is away at college. I don't know how old his daughter, she's younger, but it's not like he sees his son 24 hours a day anyway, or there's like custody swapping and everything. It's like he goes to St. Andrews, he's in Scotland. Like, it's not like you see him all the time and, oh, if the lockdown happens, you won't see him. You're not used to seeing him. He's away at school. The whole thing was very weird. But I'm interested in the part, like I said, where the source said, let's see. As for what led to the breakdown of the marriage, a New York Society source said Olivier has completely changed towards Mary-Kate, adding, even his view of the marriage has changed, which surprised people who knew them. According to a report in People, Olivier wanted a stay-at-home wife, something Mary-Kate, who has forged a huge fashion empire with her sister, would never be. The first fight you have is the last fight you'll have. Because by the time you have a first fight with someone, you have let so many other things go. Brush it off, benefit of the doubt, excuse, whatever. I like him, I want to make this work. Something's in my shirt, sorry. And so by the time you crack and you're like, and you're mad about something, that's because it is an absolute big issue. Likely a deal breaker issue. Now, it might not seem like a deal breaker then, but it is something that will turn into a deal breaker if you don't solve it way up front or get on the same page. And the sad truth is, sometimes you can't. And I guarantee you that while they were planning their Marlboro Red themed wedding, Olivier and Mary-Kate had a discussion, a squabble, a spat, about how much she was going to work after they were married. Well, you don't want to keep having this fashion label. No, you want to stay home. You want to make me crepes and things of that nature. And she's like, no, I want to have my label. She's got to stop with the center part tucked behind her ears. She's a pretty girl, but like that look is not, it's not beneficial to anyone. It makes our heads look long, you know? So I guarantee that this was one of these standoffs that a lot of people get into in a relationship. And a lot of times it's about kids. Oh, he's going to change his mind. He's going to want kids. She's going to give in. She's going to realize that I don't. And it's this standoff. I have watched a friend be in a relationship like this for years. I mean, I've watched multiple friends be in relationships like this where they each thought the other person was going to blink. He's going to change his mind. She's going to change her mind. It's like, no, for the most part in life, people kind of don't change their minds. And if they do, it's within a very finite spectrum. You know, it's in a very finite window. Very few people, I literally almost gave the example of move from a big city out to the country. But I'm a rare bird. And very few people do what I'm doing. Maybe I'll find out why. Maybe this is like a terrible idea. And it's like, well, dummy, you're gonna figure it out on your own. But you know, most people don't do that. Most people don't convert religions. Most people don't leave behind everything they know. Most people don't just completely change their entire life's trajectory to please someone that they're dating or married to. Because Mary-Kate was a fully formed adult when she met Olivier. Like, I mean, as much as one can be when you're a child star, but she had this career going. It's not like this came up in the middle of their marriage and he's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, you always sold yourself as a stay-at-home mom and now suddenly you're selling doTERRA oils and this is your whole business plan. She was a business person. And he, like, I feel for her because I have dated so many guys like this, and I feel like so many of you guys have too, where the things they love about you are the things they end up hating. You're so funny. You always got something smart to say. You know, it flips. I love how ambitious you are. What? Put your computer away. Come and hang out with me. Why are you always on your phone? Well, you loved this about me 6 months ago, and now it's the most awful thing I ever do, so I don't understand. You loved my ambitious side. You love that I'm independent and strong and badass until that cuts into you. Until that takes emotional food off your plate. Until, no, babe, I can't come and help you do this. No, babe, I got to do work. No, babe, blah, 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 blah. until I've got my own lane. The lane you saw from the beginning. The lane you veered into and enjoyed the ride, right? And I'm sure Mary-Kate is like, what the fuck? Like, did he not know who I was? Literally everyone knows who I am. And what part about me said stay-at-home wife and mom? Like, she has a whole empire with her sister, The Row, their fashion collection that has been very hands-on. I remember when they started, people were like, aw, you know, it just seemed like a silly vanity project. Whoa, like they really made that thing happen. And it takes a lot of time. And it's fucked up because we as women, we don't expect men to quit their jobs. It's like, hey, he's a finance dude. This is what he does. He's a pro athlete. Like, we know that, like, kind of what we see is what we get. But again, we maybe have that sense of malleability in terms of like children and like emotional life path, like personal life path. But career-wise, I think we are much more willing to accept things as they are. And I think the inverse is true of men. It's like, I think a man will look at a woman sometimes and be like, she wants kids and she's always going to want kids. But she's probably not going to want to work. Why do you want to keep writing books? No, stay home and make me a Hot Pocket. No, I'm good. So how can we avoid this outcome? Because one thing that I think a lot of us get into is after X, this issue won't exist anymore. After we're official boyfriend, girlfriend, this is all going to be worked out. After we're engaged, this is going to be a problem. After we're married, this is all going to get sorted. Marriage changes nothing. But yet, everything changes. Everything changes and nothing changes. What does that mean? Everything changes because now, that wet towel on the floor is the wet towel you're going to be dealing with for the next 35 years, and it can turn into World War III, okay? Everything it's like the relationship gets hermetically sealed off. It's like a time capsule. Like, how this relationship is how it is. And because there is no longer the opportunity to go out and meet new people who don't embody the flaws that your partner does, those flaws start to get bigger. You know, they start to feel more intense because there's no getting away from it. So in that sense, that's a shift. But on the other, no, things don't change. All the issues you had as boyfriend, girlfriend, they're still going to be there when you're husband and wife. I can promise you. I can tell you from experience. And we, as women, are told by society that we gotta marry, birth. And we are propelled towards that to the point that we don't always stop and look at the reality of our relationships. I'm not on schedule. I'm not married yet. I don't have a ring on my finger. All my friends are doing this. And it's this comparison-based lifestyle. And so we just tend to settle. We tend to settle. He'll change his mind about that, but we're just gonna get married. Let's just get him down the aisle. Then we can work all that stuff out. Oh no, girl. Oh no. Let me tell you something. It's easier to call off a wedding than to get a divorce. I promise you. I promise you. I don't care if it's the morning of your wedding. Don't do it. Don't do it. So here's how we can avoid Mary-Kate's unfortunate outcome. Have real conversations. Have real conversations with the people that you're dating. Ask them, where do you want to be in 5 years? Do you want to be a dad? Do you want to live in the country, the city? What kind of job do you want to have? How many hours a week would you feel comfortable working? Do you like to travel? Do you want to live close to your family? Would you live close to your wife's family? We're so afraid of asking these questions. Again, because society is saying, shut up. You don't have the luxury of being picky and choosy, ladies. You need to take whatever man will have you because tick-tock, you're behind schedule. Oh, ring just never happened for you? I literally had people say that to me at my reunion. Like, ooh, husband, just like never happened. I was like, oh, Steph, career just never happened for you. Yikes. Oh, and the freshman 15 just kept on happening. Oh, sorry about it. But that's a thing in society. Like, it doesn't matter how much we achieve in our career. Oh, but where's your husband? Where's your kids? And you're like, okay. Okay. I guess all that I've been doing kind of doesn't add up to anything. So again, we got to be okay with asking these questions and having hard conversations because we have to be okay being alone. I just realized my curling iron's on. How long has that been on? Ooh. If it's fragile, let it break. Let it break. If it is terrifying to a man for me to ask him, after a few dates, hey, like, what is it you want from your love life? What are you looking for? Are you looking to get married? Are you looking to just have some fun? Are you rebounding? Like, There's no wrong answer, but dating's about being on the same page with people. So let me know. And if he's like, oh, she's crazy. He's crazy, bitch. Let that idiot go. Let him go. I would rather know that that's who I'm dealing with on date number 3 than year number 3. When it's like, I can't ask this question. I can't ask how he feels about kids. And well, I've never brought it up before. And how can I start talking about it now? What? Why are we on eggshells for people, for any people, when we are rolling the dice on our future? Think of it. I mean, it's ironic. We're so concerned about our future, and yet we're so afraid to get data about our future. Oh my God, I can't. Well, I just can't ask him. Oh my God, he's going to think I'm nuts. Well, what? I think it's nuts that you maybe are partnering up with someone and you kind of don't know where they stand on major issues. The next thing we got to know is that people aren't always going to be 100 billion% honest. Not because they're purposeful liars, some of them are, but because they might not like the sound of the truth coming out of their own mouth. It's not sexy for a guy on a date to be like, you know what? I don't like a woman who works. I want her to stay home. Like, guys, fuckboys know enough to be clever, and they know that that's going to have a lot of girls back away from them. So we got to read between the lines. We can't always listen to what people say. We have to watch what they do. And I've dated people, like for me, my absolute number one thing that I need is a man who's supportive of my career. Like he needs to understand this roller coaster that I'm on. Like not like get it, because how can you? Like being a YouTuber and an influencer is so weird and it's so isolating, but he has to understand the gravity and the importance of it to me, and that the hours are going to be weird and my problems are going to be weird and unusual. And I don't want to hear him poo-poo it. I don't want to hear him make light of things. And I don't want to hear him tell me that I should just give up. Or like, well, why don't you just, maybe don't do that. It's like, get out of here. Get out of here. I want a partnership. And I've dated people, after I dated my one ex-boyfriend, Jason, who's the worst. If you had asked him, which I'm sure I did, hey, do you support my career? Do you support me? I was writing, my last book was about to come out, and oh, of course, yeah, I love that you're so ambitious. But it was these little microaggressions, these little micro cuts. I was being honored at a gala one time, and he was out of town for work. He worked out of town 4 days a week. I never gave him shit about it, never said boo about it, was like, hey, are you at? Like, even though, he could have had a whole other family. It happens. He went out, he ruined that night for me. He picked a fight with me while I was in the Uber with my best friend going to the gala. I was all done up. He decided to pick a fight with me to ruin that night so that I didn't have that shine. Then my book came out, the book that I wrote before I'd even met him. And I had dedicated it to my college boyfriend. And I said, if I know what love is, it's because of you. And he lost his mind. How dare you dedicate it to him? I'm like, I didn't even know your bitch ass when I wrote this. Shut up. But he was always eroding my sense of power in my career, always keeping me off kilter. Oh, I love you. I'm so proud of you. But what the fuck did that mean? It was just this constant push and pull. For people who have borderline personality disorder, that's a behavior called splitting. I don't think he had it, but it's something that we see in people who don't have borderline. Splitting is like, I'm pitting you against something so that the person, like the borderline person in the middle, is in control. I'm going to create problems so either I can rescue you from them or so that I can amplify them and make you responsible for them. And that's like what he was doing. He was creating all of these problems and all of this drama. And it's like, he didn't support my career. He didn't even support me as a person. And those two things walk hand in hand. My job is not my job. It's not my job. It's my career. It is who I am. It is the central thing that defines me. And I have been like that since I graduated college. I am defined by my career. And it's a very New York thing. Like our career is our identity. The very first question you ask someone, well, what do you do? And to the point where like meeting people in other places, it's like, don't stop asking that, because it can come off like I'm asking how much money they have or something. And I'm not. It's just like, my whole life is my job. Isn't yours? Like, what do you mean you can compartmentalize your job and just like clock out and go home and live a life? Like, that's crazy. I don't do that. Where was I going with this? Oh, so for me, if you don't support my career and my dreams, well, you don't support any part of me. You fundamentally don't understand me. And if you don't understand me, I think it's pretty plausible to say that you don't respect me. How could you? You're going to look at how I move through the world, how I prioritize things, and just not get it. And after a while, you not getting it and the blowback that has on my time with you, my priorities, all of that stuff is going to make you resentful. And what does a resentful person do? They tear. They tear. They do that leveling, right? Leveling is the thing that we do when our egos, our sense of identity is wounded or being attacked. We puff ourselves up or we cut someone else down. And in relationships, it very often comes at cutting the other person down. Why are you focusing on that stupid label? You know you guys lost money last year. You just shut it down. It's going to go bankrupt anyway. Why did you title the book that? Why did you do that? Blah, blah, blah. It's just an endless laundry list of tear, 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 tear. And you know what? Oh, my bangs. Oh, that's worse. How did these keep getting worse? I'm willing to work through a lot of stuff, but I don't really believe you can work through that. If someone, like I said, just fundamentally doesn't get it and doesn't respect what you want and doesn't respect that you have autonomy, that means to me, they kind of see you as a possession, simply an extension of them. It's a very narcissistic thing. It's like, she's my wife, she needs to stay home. It's like, okay, well, she's Mary-Kate Olsen. She's also her own person. She is your wife. That's a thing that she is, but she is all of these other things as well, as we all are. It goes back to this mentality that we talk about a lot, where some people, narcissists and fuckboys and shitty people, they view the world and everyone in the world as simply characters in the play of them. You are simply an understudy in the play of Olivier Sarkozy. It's like, no, I'm the star of my own play. I'm the star of my own play. And she's the star of her own play and he's the star of his. And that's just kind of how it goes. And, you know, it's a slippery slope to be like, yeah, it's like, of course, this is my world. Everyone's just living in it. And we all feel that way, like in spurts and moments. But for the most part, we do not move through the world with that vibe. You know, that's how we get that like Karen mentality where it's like, this is my world. You're living in it. Fuck all of you. I can do whatever I want. Right? And that doesn't change. If that is how a man or a woman views life, and you know what? Even if it can change, why the fuck do we have to be the one to do it? Do you know how tired I am? I am exhausted existentially. I'm physically exhausted also. And I'm like, I don't want to educate you on how to be an empathetic, non-selfish human being. What? Do you not think I have nothing else to do? Have you seen my Netflix queue? I have things to watch, okay? This is where I want to spend my time teaching you what you should have known around age 5. And again, we got to be out in front of these things and look for this before we get into Mary-Kate's position because, you know, like I said, my theory, I don't think this can change. I think if Olivier fundamentally sees women as at his beck and call, something maybe in a lower station that he is, what? There's 8 billion people in the world, Mary-Kate. Do you honestly think you can't find another 50-year-old chain smoker who look like he's gotten punched in the eyes? I'll give you someone off my B list. I'll give you someone off my B list. You like someone tall? They're all tall out here in Montana. They're enormous. I can do this for you. So ask those hard questions and not only listen to the answers, observe the behaviors. Where do you feel guilty in your relationship? What things is your partner, and hopefully the answer is nothing. Hopefully nothing. We feel great. What things do you feel afraid to talk about? That's a red flag. That's an emotional splinter. If you don't feel like you can talk about your desire for kids or the timeline you have for getting married and moving into a house and out of the city, or where you want to take your business or how you want to go back to school, do you have a teammate? Do you have a partner? It took me a really long time to get this memo that like, I want a partnership. I want a teammate. I want someone who's got my back. And you can't have my back. You can't be on my team if our goals aren't aligned. Not that they have to be the exact same goals, but they have to be complementary angles. You know, we have to have Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, who wrote The Little Prince, we're going back to some French stuff, has the best quote about love. Love is not two people looking at each other. Love is two people looking out in the same direction. Because if you're just looking at each other, all you have is that chemistry. And that's great, but it doesn't make a long-lasting partnership. It can make a dating relationship, it can make a fling, it can make a friends with benefits situation, but is it going to make a lasting partnership where you are moving through this world getting your needs met, he is moving through the world getting his needs met, and you are moving together, creating needs and meeting them together as a partnership? And if the answer is no, that's okay. 8 billion people in the world. 8 billion. Don't tell yourself, number one, that you can't survive single. I don't know why we think being single has got to stop being the monster under the bed. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. I'm single, loving it. Loving it. In fact, like, things are like kind of going in a direction with someone, and I'm like, I really like being single though. I really like just doing my own thing. Like, I like him, but anyway, whole other story time. We have to stop looking at being single as the monster under the bed, and we have to stop telling ourselves that this is as good as it's going to get. That whoever I'm with, well, you know, I can't ask for too much. I've got that ticking clock. Fuck that clock. Fuck that clock. Who cares? Who cares? I would rather adopt a baby than have a baby with a fuckboy who's going to make my life miserable. Right? Let's start thinking outside the box. Let's start being true to ourselves first and foremost. Asking the questions, looking for the red flags, logging those data points, and reading the writing on the wall. We didn't come this far to only come this far. Whoever you're with right now, you'll love again. I promise you. Do you believe Mary-Kate Olsen will love again? Yeah, she will. Like I said, she can have one of mine. Do you believe Olivier will love again? Even with that face, yes, of course he will. You know, he's rich and he's French and they love cigarettes, so I don't know. So therefore, you will love again as well. We can't make fear-based decisions. It's not worth it because it ends up backfiring. And Mary-Kate and Olivier are proof. I want to know your thoughts on this. Have you dated someone who has not respected your career, always tried to tear it down? What were they doing? And you know, you can look back in hindsight and be like, oh, now I see it. Let's share some things so that other girls can maybe get some sense of red flags to look for that maybe aren't on their radar right now, so we can all collectively avoid some of this pain. For more, click like and subscribe. And like I said, follow me on Instagram at ShallonXL. I'll talk to you later, Shalloners. Mwah.